Well,
welcome everybody to Scuttlebutt Podcast for Trapping Inc. TV. This is the first time in a while since Has it been a year?
It's been a year, yeah.
Wow.
We ended up having so much on our plate this year. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but we got more back into the traditional lifestyle.
Yeah.
When things are busy and you're doing something like a TV program and that kind of stuff, it's easy to get caught up in the commercialism where it's easy to go buy your groceries, go buy your vegetables, that kind of stuff. And this year we took on a whole bunch of stuff that we haven't done since we were younger, which was things like a garden and chickens and honeybees, and we've done a lot of stuff that ended up taking a bunch of time. And then, it seems like everybody was tired after coming out of COVID. People were just cranky.
Some people were.
Wow, nobody wanted to do anything on Zoom anymore, and because of the great distances that we cover, Zoom was actually a pretty good godsend for us when it came to doing podcasts.
Absolutely.
We could do so much without traveling, because unbelievably, folks, this doesn't pay us a nickel. Like, not a penny one.
No, the podcast is... maybe we should hit up Spam, though, to sponsor the podcast. I think
I had a good meal of Spam yesterday. Yeah. First, though, I want to talk about... Usually, all of our new stuff only goes onto our community at trappinginc.locals.com. But this is also going to go up on YouTube because we get a lot of questions. Yeah. We have a huge... fan base out there, I guess fans, friends, whatever you want to call them, but we have this huge base out there that's saying, "Are you guys still alive? Is everything okay? And, is there more stuff coming?"
From you for a while. Yeah.
Well, there are the first 5 seasons of Trapping Inc. TV are on YouTube. Yeah. But there are 8 so far. There are 8 seasons, and all 8 are up on locals.com.
And as well as a lot of other stuff that's on Locals. It's not just the TV show, and it's a place to connect with people pretty directly, because it's a pretty small nucleus of people that are involved in the Locals. So, it's that part's really rewarding, I think.
Yeah, we've got some nice friends there. We've actually managed to visit a few of them. It's been quite enjoyable. Yeah. But we're going to put this up on YouTube as well, just so that people know we're still alive. It's still happening, and to maybe cut down on the amount of emails that I have to answer. I was determined never to put another thing on YouTube.
Yeah. And there's lots of reasons why, but the primary reason why is that they censor what we do. And then they'll arbitrarily decide to demonetize something that's been posted up there. But they advertise themselves or have paid advertisers that advertise on our show. So they're always making money. Yep. They don't take it off the channel. They just decide that they're not going to pay us. And we just felt that, that's censorship, and we weren't going to abide by that. So a few years ago, we decided to get involved with Locals, and we can air everything on Locals. And as an added bonus, we have better connection to a lot of people who watch the show, who follow us pretty regularly and whatnot. So that's been really good.
I got to confess, they really got my dander up when anything that had my grandchildren in them was demonetized. And I said, why? Well, because according to their definition of child abuse, that was child abuse, having our grandchildren along. So I really got my dander up on that one.
And that was it.
That was it. Yeah. So anyway, this is going to be on there. This is an explanation to all you folks what's going on out in the YouTube world. If we're important, come see us at trappinginc.locals.com.
And it's also a bit of a call to action, I think, for all of you out there in the trapping world, is to, who has been a mentor for you? Who would be someone that might be interested in doing a podcast with us? Because that's a big part of it as well, is that there's a lot of folks that, want to see more podcasts, but we need people to be on the podcast.
I have one fellow. He is a member of our community, and he has the coolest address ever, North Pole, Alaska.
Awesome.
Dave is going to do a podcast with us if we can ever arrange stuff. Every time I think I have things arranged and I tell him it'll be next week, Dave, and then the wheels fall off. And we've had quite the year of wheels falling off.
Yeah, we personally have, for sure.
We have. I guess the first thing we should talk about is our big gray guy is gone. For everybody who has watched our show and has seen our dogs and that, Eli, the Weimaraner, has stepped on a rainbow. And it was tough. I still get choked up. I'm getting choked up right now. But everybody always wants to know, and they don't really come out and say, what happened?
Yeah.
Because it's hard and it's crude and all that. I guess the way the vet explained it to me, he was born with systemic cancer. And what that meant is that there was a tumor inside his lower hind leg. And it just grew throughout his lifetime. And at 11 and a half, it had grown so big it had weakened the bone, and he broke his leg.
Yeah.
And it happened we were going to Palm Springs for a friend's wedding. We come back and it had happened the day before. So we took him into the vet, and the vet told us he was 11 and a half years old. God bless him. He lived life at full throttle. Yeah. And he went out the same way. And then, the vet said, well, we could take his leg off. And I says, oh my God, I can't do that to him. He's 11 and a half. Yeah. So anyway, enough sad. We're down to one, Gunner. And this is his first weekend out in the cabin without his buddy. And he's a little bit lost. We all are. It's funny when you have two dogs. It's always like, God, two dogs is so much. There's so much going on all the time. But then you realize when one's gone, you realize the interactions where which one was doing what. And Eli was the one who was constantly attached to us, attached to you especially. You were his goddess. And he went everywhere you did.
Yes, he did.
And because of, the jealousy or competitiveness in the animals world, that meant the other one came along.
Yeah.
I work at home and in the office, and I might walk out of my office to get a coffee or whatever 11 times in an hour, and 11 times in an hour Eli would come thundering up the stairs to see what was going on, and the other one would follow in his wake.
Somebody did something and I need to be involved.
Yeah.
And even out here, Eli was the great squirrel hunter.
Yeah.
Out here, and he'd thunder out the door, and Gunner would follow on his heels, and they'd be all over the place, never really leaving very far around the cabin, but they would always be into something. And now Gunner's just not very interested in doing any of that.
He doesn't know. It's like he didn't learn what to do or whatever. But we miss the big guy anyway.
Yeah, we do.
So going into a new year, before we start talking about what all is happening here, our store is still going. You'll find us at trappinginc.com, and our coffee, the world's best super dark roast smoked coffee ever. The Wolverine band is there. We're restocked, ready to go. Shipping has gone up. You all know that, and I'm embarrassed at how high it is. The only tip I can give you is that get 2-3 coffee at a time, and it's the same amount of shipping. It doesn't go over the minimum, but the minimums are just grotesque.
Yeah, it's true.
It's grotesque, and then the post office charges you a fuel surcharge because fuel's expensive, and fuel's expensive because the communist government puts a carbon tax on it. Don't get me started. We also have a new toque. There was quite a segue. We have a new toque. This year's toque is camo gray. And it has our Trapping Inc. Logo embroidered on it. And we have a new hoodie coming.
Yes, that's going to be nice.
Actually, and it's like a performance type material. Instead of being the regular cotton that we've always wore, it's a performance type material. The first run didn't turn out good.
No,
I don't know
so
what
we're a little delayed in getting the second here with us, but it will be on the store very soon. So
Yeah.
we'll be posting updates to things like that on trappinginc.com and also on Locals.
Yeah, it's going to be black. It's going to have raglan sleeves, and
Yeah.
the sleeves will be camel. Woohoo!
I know. It's very good.
Well, so here we are. It is now what, the 6th of November.
It is. Time change today. Yay.
Calendar says April over there.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm just going to start with a new calendar next year, and we're just going to call it good, because that one just doesn't want to stay on the month that we're on. It always wants to go back to April. I don't know I don't know what happened in April, but I can't get that sucker to stay where it's supposed to stay. Anyway, it's November 6th. We did a little bit of filming the last time we were out here, which was coincidentally Eli's last trip to the trap line, and I think that season 9 is going to be another fun-filled, adventure-filled season for us. Hey?
Yeah, we had an October that was the one you dream about.
Yeah.
Like October was like a super good September even.
Yeah.
You know, and we actually ate our last radishes in.
It was mid-October, early October.
Yeah. I had,
because some friends came to hunt at our place, and we pulled radishes out of the garden, and they were just blown away by that.
yeah.
So were we.
Garden did really, really good. And then we had a very tasty elk steak to eat with the radishes.
That's true. Yeah, they got their elk, and we'd gotten our elk before that.
Yeah.
I had a cow tag that didn't get filled this year, but as it turned out, we got lots of wild meat in the freezer.
We got lots and lots of meat, so it's been wonderful. But we had this October that, before climate change, scaremongering and everything, we always dreamt about having an October like this, and that's the only thing that all this climate change stuff has done, is it's made you feel guilty about having nice weather.
Yeah.
We went to Palm Springs.
Yes.
Okay? The center of decadence in the world. Nobody who lives in Palm Springs can say anything to anybody about how we live our lives or how much carbon dioxide we produce and that. Still in today's world, more people die. It's like 90-some% of the people that die because of climate die because of cold, not because of heat.
Because of heat.
And Palm Springs would not exist if it wasn't for all the decadent amount of water and electricity that goes into air conditioning and everything else. It's beyond belief. Anyway, we had a wonderful October, but the problem with that is that even though our animals turn prime is controlled by the amount of daylight they get. So, and prime is how thick the leather is. So when the leather is thin, you can see the roots of the hairs from the inside, and that's why it has those dark spots. When as the daylight goes away, then that hide starts to thicken and thicken until they're prime. Now they're prime, but without having any cold weather, they don't get heavy. Okay,
Right.
So if we'd have started trapping on the first like we normally do, we'd have ended up catching marten and fisher that would have went semi.
Yeah.
Which is or sometimes they call them fall, but semi means that they're not fully heavy yet. Well, now the last week, 2 weeks, week and a half.
About a week and a half. Like it was cold when we got back here on the 25th of October. And it's got steadily chillier since then. I'm just going to go take that water off the stove.
I hear it over there.
You may not hear it.
No, I do. What do you mean I may not hear it? Is that a shot at my hearing?
No.
I know. I'll hear it when I have my headphones on editing this in the edit suite. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have water heating on the wood stove, and the way the Queen of Fire keeps the wood stove going, it ain't gonna be long for it's boiling.
Yeah. Anyway, so season 9 is going to show you a lot of different things that we did this year. I don't know that we filmed too much about the garden, but
No.
and I don't know that we filmed too much about a lot of the stuff. We've got some berry trees planted. We planted a whole bunch of trees this year.
Yeah.
The garden grew in size and tried some different things. We built the royal he built a greenhouse and then a chicken coop, and We raised chickens this year, which was
the most expensive chicken coop on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And I mean, mostly because you just have to know me and my OCD behavior, but I don't have old buildings around. They're either fixed up or they're burnt. So when it came time to put for a chicken coop, I didn't have an old building around. I had to build.
Well, there's anyway, and it's been great because our grandkids who live close by to us have been out and involved with it with their mom, mostly their mom because their dad works away a lot of the time.
She's a scary lady.
Yeah.
I say, well, we had a chicken die, so we need to replace that chicken. Oh, and she's the procurement person, so she goes out and procures. She comes back with 6 chickens and 4 ducks. It's like what? By the way, ducks are dicks.
Well, ducks are really messy. The chickens are fine. Anyway, we also raised 100 broilers, and the kids thought that was great when all the little baby chicks showed up at the new chicken coop and whatnot. We had a lot of fun with all of that. It was great.
I don't know whether we did something really, really well or whether we were just dumb, but I thought that we would lose about 25% of our chicks.
Yeah.
The broilers. And so we ordered 100, and I think we ended up getting 107.
Yeah,
She threw in some.
Yeah.
That one don't look so good, and so she's throwing another one.
Yeah, so 107 is what we started out with, and we actually butchered 101.
Yeah.
And if we'd gone, if we'd done some of the, I mean, who knows? I mean, you can't tell the difference in Bob's from Betty's out there, but we did well. I was really surprised, so pleasantly so.
We lost 4, like in the last 3 days.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess because they grow fast. These were Cornish cross giants or something.
I don't know. They were white.
Yeah.
They were white, and they liked my orange toe polish. I went in there one day with my sandals on, and man,
only you would go in a chicken coop in sandals.
I was high stepping it out of there.
Well, you never let me forget that chickens are like one feather away from being a dinosaur.
Well, they are. Everybody knows that.
Although we had one, a Buff Orpington, who was an egg layer, and she got by a hawk.
Yeah.
And this one has a big lip for days. It's like, I'm really sad about the chicken getting. I says, man, I didn't see that coming, because she'd been whining about these dinosaurs and how awful they were. And I says, I didn't see that coming. You being sad about a chicken. She says, I didn't either.
So anyway, and then we got bees. So we have a friend who's had bees and been involved in apiaries in the past. So Richard went out and helped him put his hives to bed last fall, and then we decided that we should probably get honeybees, because why not? We don't have any neighbors close by to us. Everybody is at least a half a mile away by the crow, as the crow flies and whatnot. So anyhow, we ordered these bees, 2 hives of bees, and they were supposed to be delivered in May.
Yeah.
And I guess there was a die-off of bees.
Well, what happened is we had a big Chinook come through in February. And a lot of these bees are raised locally. Like, they produce what they call nukes, which is a nuclear core that they can either be 5-frame or 10-frame. And we bought 10-frame ones. But these are how you start your bees. But we had a big, crazy, week-long Chinook happen in February, which happens. But this one was I guess, really affected the bees because it woke all the bees up. And then when they're awake, then they start producing the bee bread and that, so that the queen starts to lay eggs. Well, then it got cold again afterwards, and nobody had prepared for it. They were out of food. They starved. It was kind of it was a sad thing. I mean, it's just nature.
Well, it is. But then the place where we get the bees, of course, they had established apiaries that were looking for more bees. So we got pushed back, which I get it. We're not a commercial operation. We were just starting out. They probably thought like we thought about the chickens. They're going to kill everybody. It's, whatever. Anyway, we didn't get the bees until the 8th of July, and we left to go on our flying fishing trip on the 11th of July, or the 10th, I guess we left.
Yeah.
And so anyhow, man, we had honey though. When we came home, there was honey.
We caught the second alfalfa bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And purest, clearest.
Yeah.
We have honey somewhere around here.
I put it in
You put it away?
Yeah, put it away.
Cleaned up for this.
No, I put it back in our travel back and forth.
We ended up, having started so late, so unforgivably late, we ended up getting 90 pounds of honey. It was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And it's...
we gave away 2 pints, too, to folks on locals. Dave DeForge from BC. Dave, you have not sent me your address yet for your pint of honey. And Dave from North Pole in Alaska.
Oh.
I spoke with your one of your legislatures, Mike Cronk, and he says he didn't think there'd be any problem with me shipping you some. So get me your address as well. We'll ship each one of you a pint of our pure raw honey.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing that we should probably mention, too, is that we constantly have giveaways and things like that going on just to be engaged, like get everybody,
One of those giveaways was last year. We gave away a trip to come trapping with us. Yes. And we had wonderful folks. Brent and Angie came from Manitoba. Yeah. Actually, the first winner was from Texas. Yeah. And he phones me up and he's
got a lip on.
Yeah, he says, I'm not vaccinated, so I can't cross the border. And it's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So then Brent and Angie won.
Yeah.
And they were wonderful people. We had, if you watch season 8, you'll have seen the 2 shows we made with them. You took Angie down the lake on
on my little line, my lake line, as I like to call it.
Yeah. Did you get a mink or a fisher?
It was a mink, I think, that we got.
A mink, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Brent and I went out. He was really bad luck when it came to the lynx.
And that was the only thing he really wanted to know more about.
And then I had like an off the charts lynx season.
But not that weekend.
23 of them.
Yeah.
23.
Yeah, well, one was just a head.
Well,
so you can't really...
2 of them actually were just heads. Yeah. So, okay, it was quite the year that way. But that's one of the things that we do. And this year we actually donated a trip to Alberta Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta chapter. Yeah. And I'm a director on it, and I also I edit the magazine. Yeah. Like I needed to take on more work in my life.
Yeah. That's one of the other things.
We're all volunteers, and it was, I guess, one of the things I thought I should do, or what, I don't know. But anyway,
So coming up this year, I think sometime in December, we'll see how the weather goes. It's really going to, because these folks are from the Fort McMurray area, right? That bought the trip. And so it'll really just depend on travel weather and, when they can get here and how cold it is. Because it can be not very nice. But anyway, we'll figure all that out. But, we'll have to decide whether we're going to do another trip giveaway.
I want to give away another trip to our people and locals.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that keeps people coming back too. And so maybe
we did this other donation to Wild Sheep, and it was good, but we can't do 2 of them in a year. No, we can't do both. So, I think that it's nice to have trappers come in and go trapping.
Exactly.
We spent yesterday was our first day out setting up the new long hair. Yeah. Long hair line. Now, when we talk about long hair, of course, that can be the canines, but we don't do a lot of canines out here. We usually do canines in the
round home.
Yeah.
There's a couple of wolf packs that kind of make a pass through here, but we don't have a lot of big game on the line, funny enough. But anyway, the wolves are always looking for big game, so if there isn't much for big game, there isn't much for wolves. Yeah,
they need a lot of food.
Yeah,
a lot of food.
They surely do.
We So we're talking about the fisher, the martin, weasel, and wolverine are what we're setting up for right now. On the 1st of December, then lynx and otter open, and we'll start setting there. But yesterday was our first trip, just because of the year we had, was our first trip on a lot of the line. And
Yeah.
we had some kind of a, you know what? I actually think, we talk about, while we come out and do it in the summertime and then clean up our lines, and then a big wind comes through afterwards and makes a disastrous mess of it. And I think that's what actually happened.
Yeah.
Because we were here 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago was Eli's last trip. And just, I don't know, 300 yards from here, from the cabin here, we go up and we take a left to start on one loop. I know I saw it the last time we were here, because I pointed out to you, the box is still there and the bears hadn't knocked it down.
Yeah.
And this time, it's like a plow wind come through there, and there has to be 20 trees flattened.
Yeah. Snapped right off. And
you know the
there's
rule.
a rule.
There's a rule. You know what the rule. If a tree falls in the woods on Rich's trapline and nobody's there, does it make a sound? We don't know. Does it knock a box off the tree? Yeah, we know that. Yeah, for sure.
For sure that happens. Yeah.
So that got all flattened,
But we spent quite a bit of time cutting things out of the way, and then cutting off, smaller trees that were already starting to have a lean to it. And as soon as the first snow hits, they're going to be right down where you're hitting it with the snowmobile or whatever. And quite possibly the next time we come out, it's going to be snowmobile weather.
Who knows? It hasn't snowed here yet. When we left last few days ago, when we left home, we were just ahead of the storm. It was supposed to be going to be storming bad there. Yeah. And I think, how much did they get? How much snow?
I think they got like 18 inches or something like that.
At home?
It didn't. I don't know. Maybe they didn't get.
I thought that was Saskatchewan. I thought.
Oh
that
yes,
was our daughter in
our
Saskatchewan.
Daughter got 18.
I thought they were talking about 4 to 8 inches at home.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but they called it a snowfall warning.
Yeah, 4 to 8 inches of snow. Yeah.
Mind you, by the look of the summer tire club, there was enough snow to put a lot of people in the ditch.
I used to be a proud member of that. I did, and then I don't know how many years ago when we moved so far from town, we're 40K or 24 miles outside of city where Sandy works, and so then it was that winter traveling, and that you put winter tires on your little car or your SUV, and it was all-wheel drive SUV too, and it was, but man, it made a difference. It impressed the heck out of me. So after a while, I thought, well, what if the old F-350 would benefit from it? And it sure does. Yeah. So I will gladly eat that crow with a fork and spam and
fork and spam.
Exactly.
Although, so now that's the other thing that we have to talk about is yesterday because it's just comical, but spam is one of those things that we carry back and forth with us because it's canned, it's good, it's whatever. We've got a lot of other canned goods at home too, but the spam comes out, and always on the first trip out to set traps, we always stop and have a fire and cook a can of spam over the fire. So, what could be better than spam on a stick?
Absolutely nothing. I'm telling you what. Especially when you're burning up a tree that you had to cut out of the way, right?
Yep. And put that in a sandwich. Ooh, so good.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Yum, yum.
Well, that's what I like, though, is the fact that you have to stop and make a fire.
Yeah.
If we just take sandwiches, I won't stop. I'll just eat sandwiches, even with my hands smelling like lure and all that. I'll just keep eating sandwiches as we drive. But when we take spam, I have to start a fire.
Yeah.
And, like yesterday, we were both pretty chilled. I've been sweating hard, and it was, we're not used to the cold. No. And yesterday was kicking down around, minus 14 or 15 Celsius. So we're getting pretty close to 0 Fahrenheit. And you got chilled. So, starting a fire was really nice way to warm up. And then you fork that hot food into, because you got to toast your spam.
That's true.
Then you got to put it in a sandwich and you got to toast the sandwich. Well, to me, toasting is burning it black. But...
Yeah, well, or smoking it.
Yeah.
Everything's better smoked.
There you go. That should be a new commercial.
Anyway, we had a good day yesterday. I don't think we got as many traps set as we liked. I think we were counting it up last night when we were having supper, and it was 16 traps that we got in. But we'll just, we have to check them the next time we come out, but then we'll venture a little further. And I think, things are going to be a little bit more frozen too. We have the cold weather has lasted probably, it's been about a week since we've had some really cold enough to freeze ponds and beaver dams and stuff. So that just, it's hard on equipment when you're breaking through, so we'll just take it easy this year.
Yeah, and I know that we would have broke through on a couple of the big beaver dams, and it's like, it's one thing when you're just floating them.
Yeah.
Breaking through is another story, and I mean, I've done it. We did it last year on season 8. I showed that, and I went thundering out across. And the reason I went into it fast is I knew how deep it was because we'd floated it just the week before, and I knew that when I fall down, I can't break the ice. You don't have enough propulsion with just the tracks turning and that. So, but if I go out and I fall down, then my bow wave humps and heaves all the ice, breaks it, and I can drive out. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't have that advantage this year, and the beavers were digging crazy. Like, you take a look at the approach into that one spot, and I mean, there's just these great, huge holes they've dug out everywhere. It's in sand, so unless it keeps raining, unless they're constantly getting water, they don't hold their water over the winter.
And this one had lost quite a bit of water. So
so I didn't want to go in there and fall through and fall sideways or whatever. It's like, you know what? By next weekend, 5-6 days from now, it's going to be so hard that it's not going to make any difference.
Absolutely.
And we had all we could do yesterday anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to get those 16 in, that was a full day.
It was a full day.
Yeah, but you always start out with, we'll get the top 54 done here,
Well, it's good to be ambitious and have plans,
the eternal optimist.
We also need to say a big thank you to everyone who watches the show in Canada. In Canada, we are the top-rated show on Wild TV. So that's a real, and we have been for a few years now. So it's not new, but we're always very grateful for everyone who watches. So thank you very much. And we have been airing in the U.S. on Pursuit Channel for a few years, and we just were notified this last week that we are among the top-rated shows, top-watched shows on Pursuit Channel in the U.S. So to all of our American friends, thank you very much for watching, for spreading the word, for being part of our locals channel. There's a lot of people across North America and even beyond. We have people from Norway, we have people from all over the place that are watching the channel, the locals channel. So that's great too. And what else? Was there something else?
It's just the start. It's just the start. So I mean, I'm pretty excited about it. We have, like you said, all 8 seasons are up. Plus, we put a bunch of bonuses up.
Yes.
A bunch of bonus stuff. I even put up stuff. We had so many links last year that I've been putting up extra bonus shows. Yeah, well, they're actually bigger than a show. Yeah. Because when I edit for TV, I end up with 22 minutes and 30 seconds of content. Right. But when I edit for locals, like I put up one last week that was near 30 minutes. Yeah. Just using that stuff up, right? And trying to keep it active. We had a problem. We've had, every time I've tried to get into this stuff, there's been a new issue happen here and there. We had a thing with Gunner last week that was beyond belief. He totally had a reaction to something, and the poor guy just blew up. Like he just swole up everywhere. He couldn't even see. Now, if it was a human, you'd have said it was like anaphylaxis, And
he was breathing fine, which was a big relief. We didn't have to rush him in that very second, but Richard took him into the vet that day, and they threw all kinds of things. Oh, it looks like essential oils. Is somebody using essential oils? We don't use essential oils at home. Oh, it's a new lotion.
No,
new lotions.
We smell bad naturally.
You. You can smell bad all you want. I do not. Hey, buddy.
The poor guy swelled up something terrible.
Yeah.
So we got him on Benadryl and Reactive. I learned some interesting stuff. Like, a dog has way more histamines in its body than a human does.
Yeah.
And you can give them 4 times the dosage that a human would take.
Yeah.
How are you, buddy?
Oh, he wanted to get his face on TV.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah, you're looking good. And the other thing was now we have to watch out for him in the next 2 weeks or so to have an ear infection because
Yeah.
he was so puffed up. But
And hot. That's
Yeah.
what happens, right? Yeah.
so there was a learning there. It's been like one little disaster after another, but we shall overcome.
We have.
We have, yeah, we have. We
Yeah.
continue on. You know, even after yesterday being such a struggle. I woke up this morning as well. 16 was better than we had the
day
yesterday
before,
morning,
yeah.
and
Exactly.
just because that was so bad there doesn't mean that it's all going to be, or it all might be worse. Who knows?
Well, you don't know. It is what it is, though. There's nothing that you can do to change it. And we live in nature. We live amongst nature. We are part of nature. So we just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess we should wrap this up. It is time to get loaded and to make our way back and see how badly snowed in we are back
At
home.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see what the chickens and the ducks have done while we've been gone.
I hope you've enjoyed our first podcast in the year, and I hope you'll come join us at trappinginc.locals.com, and maybe we'll see you down the line.